Happy Wednesday, East Hartford. We've got a ton of questions for you as we continue to catch up from all the submissions we have. I want to thank you all for continuing to send in these questions. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So our first question is from Keith. And Keith, I want to apologize. I know you've asked this question twice now, and we haven't been able to get to you yet, but want to get you an answer on your question about an update for Veterans Memorial Clubhouse. So yes, we are still moving forward with renovating Veterans Memorial Clubhouse. As you know, it's been closed down for some time. Started to close down after COVID. The idea is still to work with Meneilly's, who was our sole respondent to our public-private partnership RFP, to operate the banquet facility full time. We've kind of shifted the scope of work for the project, which has kind of been the result of the delay. And that is to program about $4.8 million in state grants. We do have town bonding as well for the project, I believe in the amount of $2.7 million. We are holding off on spending town bonding because once we spend that town bonding, it actually impacts the town's debt service, which can result in affecting our tax rate here in the town of East Hartford. And so instead, we're revising the scope to program the $4 million in state bonding, state grants that does not affect our general fund budget. So what we'll do is we'll button up the building, get it operational again, give it a facelift, and then continue to work with Meneilly's to turn the building over to them so that they can operate it full time as a banquet facility. And that's our plan for the first and second floors. The basement floors, we plan to continue to put out to the community as community meeting space, so that organizations like the Rotary Club, Lions Club, you name it, are able to use that building still free of charge, while Meneilly is able to operate as a banquet facility full time. So, like I said, Keith, for a short answer, we're revising the scope of work to program $4.8 million in state bond funds, and we should be able to see that construction hopefully starting by the end of this year, if not beginning of next year. So apologies for the delay, Keith, but that's the answer for VMC. All right, our next question is from a Silver Lane homeowner. It was a pleasure going down Silver Lane, seeing the yellow flashing light at Plaza 2. Very happy to see things getting done. No problem at all. Thank you, Representative Jason Rojas, for helping get DOT to make that change as soon as possible. And as you guys know, it's the little things sometimes that matter the most. Our next question is from an East Hartford resident. Thank you for your transparency on the finance page of your website under town payments, employee wage, and insurance information. Looking at the 2023 fiscal year overtime paid does not have any dollar amounts, please correct. As of today, this issue has been corrected on the website. So those correct dollar amounts should be corrected at this point. Our next question is from Ms. Johansson, and it is, would it be possible for the town to purchase the historic homes of the Goodwin and Olmsted families on Burnside Ave to be used for museums, art galleries, or historical places for the benefit of our wonderful town of East Hartford? It would do so much for Burnside and the town altogether. So, Ms. Johansson, I think this is a great idea, actually. Unfortunately, at this time, the town probably doesn't have the means to be able to purchase these two buildings. I do, however, though, want to turn your attention to our already existing historic properties, should you have time to go and visit. These are the two historic properties, the Brewer House as well as the Hocknum Library, which are over on High Street near ECLC, Early Childhood Learning Center. In addition to that, we have the three historic buildings at the top of Martin Park, and that is the Huguenot House, the Blacksmith Shop, and the Goodwin Schoolhouse. And if you guys know, the East Hartford Historic Society helps operate each of those buildings, as well as conducting tours. So I know myself, I'm going to be out there at the Martin Park buildings conducting, actually taking a tour myself July 2nd. So I can get in the buildings myself, see their conditions as we continue to try to pursue funding to renovate those three buildings. If you guys remember, we are renovating both the Brewer House and Hocknum Library right now. The Brewer House is the main building that the Historic Society uses, both to stage old furniture, historic artifacts within that building that really tell the history of East Hartford. So unfortunately, at this time, like I said, we don't have the means to purchase those two houses, but I would strongly encourage you to connect with the Historic Society and see if you can tour our other 5 historic properties that we have in the town of East Hartford right now. But thank you very much for that question. Our next question is from Charlie. Is there any plans to cut the grass and overgrown bushes at Center Park at the end of Garvin Street? Park needs some maintenance. Yes, this has been reported to DPW since you had asked this question. Unfortunately, our brush mower was currently out for repair. That repair is underway. And as soon as that machine is fixed, Center Park will be addressed if it hasn't been already. But Charlie, thank you very much for your question. Our next question is from a Silver Lane homeowner. Is there any current progress or updates with Silver Lane Plaza? And we've got this question a few times, so I'll answer it once here. Yes, so as you guys have seen, Silver Lane has been able to make significant progress. We've demoed the entire site at this point. We've remediated any contamination where the old dry cleaner site was. That's the building on the right. We've removed the light poles. We've removed the signage as well. And the grass is growing back where the buildings were. And so right now we're currently working with our developer, who's the Grossman Realty Group. And we're working on hashing out essentially the terms and conditions of the development agreement. And whether this is going to include public money, some sort of tax abatement, a permit fee reduction. We're running the numbers right now, seeing how we can make the numbers work. The idea is still to develop both commercial and housing on the site. The commercial retail, as well as a few restaurant pads, are going to be up toward the road, Silver Lane. And then toward the back of the plaza, we're looking at owner-occupied housing, whether it's townhouses, modular homes, something that's going to directly support the retail operation up front. And so this entire area is continuing to, make progress and revitalize. If you guys remember, or at least if you've seen on the news, the town did just close on the sale of Showcase Cinema, Concourse Park. That's going to be 300 plus units of market rate housing. So we did close on the sale of that property last week. That's a huge milestone. That property's been in the town's hands for about 9 years now through 3 different administrations. So that is now in the hands of the developer. And that project is basically about to go out to bid for the infrastructure. That includes the roads, the utilities, to support the vertical construction of the buildings, which will likely happen the beginning of next year. So in addition to that, where Charter Oak Plaza is, we also have the trampoline park that is being built out, which will likely be the new anchor of the plaza. Burlington Coat Factory is still there, still doing very well. I see a question I have to answer about that in a few minutes. But this whole area is finally starting to take some life. And so we'll continue to move these projects along, especially Silver Lane Plaza. Like I said, working very well with our developer at this point. Just trying to figure out how to make the math work, and how to build out this development agreement, which will eventually go to town council for approval. So those are the updates on Silver Lane Plaza. Like I said, we demoed the site and working with the developer toward development. But thank you very much for the question. Our next question is from Jill. Are there any plans on bringing a grocery store to East Hartford? And the second question is there any place where commercial vehicles can park their tractor? So to answer your first question, we always continue to try to attract a grocery store. I've been on the phone with grocery stores like Geisler Supermarket, ShopRite. We do have 6 grocery stores currently in town right now. Whether you like them or not, we do have 6 of them. And so, as a part of the Silver Lane development, a grocery store has been something that's been looked at. And so, we'll see what we can do. We're always open to another grocery store. We're never going to say no to it. And maybe within these new developments, whether it's on the riverfront, whether it's Silver Lane Plaza, it is my hopes that we can get something. But like I said, we do have 6 already. You got ShopRite right over the line into Manchester. We've got ShopRite on the other side of town. We've got Key Foods, Aldi's, Accrual Market. We've got the new Indian grocery store in School Street Square. So we do have options. We also have C-Town. So, but yeah, we'll always continue to try to attract a grocery store. But as of right now, we haven't had any luck. All right. To your second part of your question, is there any place commercial vehicles can park their tractors? So the only place that I know of is at the end of Brookside Lane. This is off of Robert Street, next to Margarita's. There's a truck depot back there. I believe that gentleman is renting out space for folks who have tractor trailers, commercial vehicles. It's the only spot in town that I can think of right now off the top of my head. So if you are interested, I would go down Brookside Lane to visit the gentleman who operates that space to see if there's a spot for someone to park their commercial vehicle. But Jill, thank you very much for your question. All right, our next question is a 3-parter from Jocelyn. What is the plan for if there is a decrease in educational funding? That's the first question. So there luckily was no decrease in educational funding from the state or from the town will be approved in the Board of Ed's budget. So as of right now, our funding has actually been increased per the Board of Ed's request. I believe the state has increased a little bit of the ECS funding as well. That's the educational cost sharing. So as of right now, we have not had a decrease in educational funding, which is a real positive for us. Your second question is, what will you do if residents lose the Social Security and Medicare? So this is definitely a tough one, and it's definitely with the current administration, something that could absolutely happen. And so we'll continue to work with our state and federal delegation to see how the state can help supplement, if not step up to the plate, as well as the federal government to supplement these funds that may get cut or may get lost. So we're monitoring it closely. We're trying to make sure we gauge the impact to our residents and who's going to be affected by this. Overall, cutting Social Security and Medicare, in my opinion, is not good policy. Doesn't help the most ordinary person to continue to live a quality of life, pay their bills, get their health care. So it's just one of those weird decisions coming out of Washington that we're going to need to try to solve for so that we continue to take care of our residents. So we'll continue to monitor it, work with our state and local partners to try to supplement the funding if indeed Social Security and Medicare get cut or when they get cut. But thank you very much for your question. Your last question is, how are you going to help students feel safe going to school? So we're going to continue to work with our Board of Ed and the superintendent, who I think has done a great job sending out information to the parents of our children in our school system. And this may relate to ICE, immigration, may relate to other violence. As of right now, we don't have any reports of violence in our schools, knock on wood, and I'm grateful for the staff and the teachers as well as the kids at all of our schools for going to school and doing what they need to do. And so we also have community service officers in almost all of our schools, mostly our high schools, our middle school possibly, and maybe some of the elementary schools. But we do utilize community service officers. Like I said, our Board of Education has a great relationship with our police department. And so we'll make sure that our parents and our students are informed on what their rights are, what to do, should they feel unsafe. But as of right now, really no reports of our school's safety being in jeopardy. So, but I appreciate the question. All right, our next question is from Claris. Are our sewer systems being treated for mosquitoes this year? So yes, every year the town of East Hartford allocates a certain amount of money in our budget to conduct a mosquito treatment program. By employing the services of a mosquito control contractor whose staff regularly apply larvicides to known mosquito breeding grounds and periodically spray affected areas of town throughout the mosquito season. Additionally, our contractors also apply larvicide to the stormwater catch basins on all town-owned roads. The program has already begun here in East Hartford, and the residents should see a change in the mosquito population. But thank you for your question. Our next question is a three-parter. It's from a taxpayer. Does any department enforce the cutting of grass in East Hartford? Yes, that is the property maintenance department under inspections and permits. All you got to do is either call the department or download the My East Hartford app to be able to put in high grass complaints. It automatically gets diverted to the appropriate department as well as staff member, who will then go out, send out a notice of violation to the homeowner. We give them a certain amount of time per state statute to remedy the violation, in which they don't, we start to fine them daily. So either you can download the My East Hartford app and report that concern, or call the inspections and permits property maintenance division department as soon as possible, or when you see these things around town. With all the great activities in East Hartford, has there been a thought to bring back fireworks or maybe partner with Hartford? So this is a really great question. As of right now, maybe no on the fireworks. I used to attend the fireworks when I was a little bit younger as well. And, unfortunately, you get some bad actors out there. You get some fights that start, some arguing, and it really just ruins it for everybody. So that's really the reason why they've no longer done the fireworks. It's just kind of getting out of control. Maybe there's an appetite to bring it back, but people really have to be able to behave and not ruin it for the families that are out there. However, in terms of partnering with Hartford, absolutely. If you guys remember, in addition to announcing that we would be exploring shared services with Hartford, we also are exploring shared tourism. And that's really an exciting committee to explore how can we better leverage our riverfront? How can we better program it? joint programming both between Hartford and East Hartford to create a better experience around our riverfront and really start to highlight the great things that each town has to offer. So that committee is underway. Ideas are already being fleshed out for some joint events along the riverfront. These could include a drone show. They can include an art exhibition. Sorry about that. You name it. It could be a boat parade. It could be a concert on the river. The infrastructure is there. The appetite is there to work together. So that work is already underway to see what joint events can we partner on this coming year. So stay tuned for more information on that. And then any updates on the cases of animal abuse cases in our town. So no updates right now. It's actually been very quiet. We haven't had any cases. Like you had saw, we had a couple upticks in cases probably in the beginning of spring. All were addressed. If there any that were related to criminal activity were addressed by the police department as well. As it relates to one of the cases of a dog being found behind the old Stop and Shop Plaza, Charter Oak Plaza, we have worked well with the owner of the plaza to install cameras and to make sure that we have access to those cameras should something like that happen again back there. But as of right now, things have been quiet. People are behaving and taking care of their pets, so we appreciate that. Well, thank you very much for your question. All right, our next question is a resident. And can the town provide bins for grass, branches, and other yard waste? Or can they pick up the brown bags with yard debris? So we don't have a separate bin for yard waste as of right now. It is a program that's been mentioned and possibly explored, but as of right now, no, we do not offer a separate bin. However, yes, you can always put these things in brown bags. The town will pick up the brown bags as a part of your normal trash schedule, and we do that year round. So not just during leaf season, but yeah, if you want to put them in the brown bags, we will come and pick them up. You also have the ability to bring them to the transfer station during hours of operation, should you have the means to do so. So yeah, put them in the brown bag. We'll come and get them and throw them away for you. All right, our next question is from a resident. This is a nice one. Just congratulations on your new family addition. Do you have any updates on Silver Lane Plaza? So I just gave you guys an update. Once again, we demoed the site, cleared it. We're working with the developer right now to hash out the development agreement, make the math work, and move toward construction, which likely will not happen until 2026, just to set expectation for you. But thank you very much for the congratulations. Our next question is from Georgette. Of the 300 apartments to be built in the Silver Lane development, will a percentage be affordable income-based versus market rate? So these are the 300 apartments that we're going to be where the old Showcase Cinema site is, called Concourse Park Development. So no, none of those are going to be market rate. And that doesn't mean that we're against affordable housing or income-based. A number of our other projects are incorporating affordable housing as well, but this one is going to be solely market rate. Amenity rich, so it's going to have things like a pool area, gym area, a dog area, meeting room space, you name it. And so I do like to inform people that state requirement is that towns have 10% affordable housing. East Hartford is at 16% affordable housing. So we have greatly exceeded the amount of affordable housing we have here in town, especially compared to other towns in the state of Connecticut. Like I said, doesn't mean we're never going to build affordable housing. We're always going to. We're always going to be open to it. But East Hartford, I want to say, has definitely done its part in making sure that we have a significant amount of affordable housing here. And so as this project does not include affordable housing, other projects will. We'll continue to build it out. But this one will be just strictly market rate. So Georgette, thank you very much for the question. All right, our next question, we're almost there, folks. Hang in there. Is from a taxpayer. Mayor, Luann's Bakery and Cafe is opening up a second location in Hartford. Do you know if East Hartford was contacted for a second location? So no, we were not contacted for a second location. However, I did run into the folks of Luann's Bakery at this Hartford Taste event a few weekends ago. And so I was able to meet the owner. I was able to see where their new space was going, right there on Asylum and Trumbull. So really great people. Always try to attract these new businesses to East Hartford. I always throw out a plug to them that East Hartford is open for business and we'll help them open up here. But no, I have not been contacted directly about them opening East Hartford. Like I said, I had the pleasure to speak with them. We'll see where it goes. But as of right now, no one's reached out to us about them moving to East Hartford. I wish, absolutely. Any update on a restaurant for the golf course? So I am very, very excited to announce that we will be having a new restaurant operator. However, I cannot announce it. I think you guys are going to love this option. It not only provides a wonderful food and beverage option during the golf season, but this will be a year-round restaurant that will be open outside of the golf season as well, and will provide a really wonderful experience in that side of town where we really don't have any restaurants or food options. You got to go to Manchester or South Windsor. So unfortunately, I cannot share who it is yet. So stay tuned for more information on who the new restaurant operator of the golf course will be. Do you know when the Popeyes on Main Street will be completed? It's a great question. It was delayed for a few weeks as the owner, construction manager, addressed some issues with their contractor in the town that related to some permitting and inspections. Those issues have been addressed. So I have already seen activity back out there just yesterday. So they are continuing to build it out. I don't have a time frame on when it's going to be completed. Likely, if we didn't have those delays that we need to address, it probably would have been very, very close to completion at this point. So I would say within another 2 months, definitely by the end of the summer, should no issues arise, Popeyes will be built. So really positive there. But thank you very much for the question. All right. And we are almost at the end. We've got 3 more. So our next question is from Jessica. Who can I reach out to for a repair of a road and sidewalk near Norris Elementary? So that would be the Department of Public Works. They oversee our road improvement plan. I believe that is a town-owned road, so I would just reach out to DPW. They could come out, assess the road, and put together a plan to replace it the best that we can. Our road improvement plan at this point has been completed. All the roads that we plan to pave this year have been completed. So there's some touch-up work that's going on, like the backfilling of curbs, aprons. But at this point, that road was not on our list. DPW will assess and see what kind of action we can take this year. Your next question was, what's the name of the street in front of McAuliffe Pool? Is it a continuance of McKee Street? No, so that is actually Remington Road. But thank you very much for the question. All right, our next question is a lifelong resident and taxpayer. Did our Burlington store move out of East Hartford and reopen in Manchester? No, that did not happen. I have seen that that question before. I was just at the plaza the other day. Burlington's actually doing quite well in that plaza. So no, we have no record, no communication from Burlington that they're moving to the new Manchester store. Just sounds like Manchester is building a new store. So as of right now, no, Burlington is not moving out of East Hartford, at least to our knowledge. So, but thank you very much for the question. All right, our next question is from John. Who's in charge of taking care of the new softball field at East Hartford High School? The field has just been redone last year and is overgrown. Yeah, so this is the Board of Ed, since it's on their site. This has been shared with them, and they will address the condition of the field as soon as possible. All right, our last question is from Charles. Do you know what they are putting at the corner of South Prospect and Connecticut Boulevard? They are also taking down trees at the edge of the property going into Center Park. So as it relates to the corner of South Prospect and Connecticut Boulevard, we have no known development plans yet. However, we have heard from the owner of the site. This actually used to be a gas station, and so there is some environmental remediation that's going on. There will be some soil remediation that I'm sure is contaminated by the old gas station. So that is the current activity that's going on. It's just some environmental remediation. I'm sure to prepare the site for eventual development, but that development hasn't been shared with us yet. So that's what's going on. All right, my friends. That was a lot. I appreciate all the questions. Continue to send them in. I love answering this stuff. As always, have a great Wednesday. Try to stay cool out there as best you can. And I'll see you guys next time for the next Ask the Mayor. Have a great day, East Hartford. I'll talk to you soon.